exquisite. Now that's suddenly exquisite.
Welcome back. We are back with our second match. Lotus here in Swift Play today. They are taking on Western Michigan Rocket League, which is going to be, all signs will show, a much more formidable matchup for them compared to their first match earlier today. This is a team that, like the Mountaineers, is 4-1 in the Swiss West Far, and their only loss is a 2-1 loss to St. Clair Academy, a team that this Lotus team has a ton of history with. As I said, that was a 2-1 loss. So this is going to be a much tougher test for this Lotus team as they try and go 2-0 on the day in Swiss play.
Yeah, this is a very interesting match up for the Lotus because they had a little bit of trouble last week where they struggled, and it's kind of interesting if they can kind of keep up their movement and kind of improve because they struggled on Rebels.
Yep, absolutely. As you said, some trouble last week against Ford International, dropping their first match in Swift play 2-1 to them. Similar, I believe it was last week as well when this Western Michigan team dropped their first match again to St. Clair Academy. So both teams 4-1, looking to bounce back with a 2-0 week here in Swift play. It looks like we're going to be able to get into it in just a second. This Western Michigan team, as I said, much better than their first game, and they're going to have to play a lot better than we saw them play just a little bit over an hour ago. Against Jamestown, we saw in game 2 a lot of mental errors, a lot of defensive errors especially. So they're going to need to see a better performance here from this Lotus team to secure the win here and move themselves to 5-1 in Varsity Plus.
Yeah, the Mountaineers played very sloppy defense, and that's how Jamestown was able to steal game team 2. So if the Mountaineers want to win this game and go undefeated on the night, they need to play better defense because they just kept making silly mistakes that just ended up costing them a round that they should have won.
Certainly did. Silly mistakes is certainly the probably the best way to put it. We're going to head here into game 1 against Western Michigan. They're going to immediately be on the attack here. We saw how good the Mountaineers were in the 2 games that they won about getting out early and scoring a lot of goals in the first 30 seconds. So now it's going to be Western Michigan that's trying to kind of flip that script here as they are going to get really aggressive early. Johnny McMuffin up in the air. It's going to get demolition there, however, on the tempo. Now the Mountaineers are going to get a chance to reset here and look for an attack. Duffy's going to go over the middle trying to find something, but not quite there. But the demo comes in there as well. It's another good shot there from the Mountaineers. Saved again. It's a couple of great saves there from the side of Western Michigan. Now they're going to have a chance here to go up the left side and try and open up this goal scoring.
Yeah, Western Michigan's playing very good defense, but for the Mountaineers, can they pretty much get it out of their zone and start playing a lot more aggressive and put the pressure on Western Michigan?
Absolutely. Here's going to go up the middle, but it's going to be met by Johnny McMuffin there on the ceiling. Now Western Michigan holding pat right now, looking pretty effortless right now defensively as everything the Mountaineers throw at them. They're just swiftly and easily knocking away and heading it back over towards that orange-sided goal. Emma, they get another touch here. It's going to be won back very quickly by Western Michigan. Mountaineers going to have to be careful here. There's going to be a real chance here. John McMuffin's going to play it over the middle. Duffy is there with a deflection out from goal, but once again, the Mountaineers still in a little bit of trouble here. Western Michigan's really doing a good job of keeping the pressure on them. And then as you see, the Mountaineers are able to kind of get it over to the other side for just a second before immediately being met back as the defense has been absolutely stalwart so far for this Western Michigan team.
Yeah, Western Michigan just seems to be dominating it early on, and you had the early goal from Emma.
Never mind. Western Michigan couldn't stop that one. It's just a solo brilliance there from Emma. You can't really place a shot much better than that. That's going to be pretty hard to defend if you're any team. And the Mountaineers open it up 1-0 before the 3-minute mark.
Yeah, one upper 90 from Emma. But for the Mountaineers to win this game, you want to rely on their chemistry with Emma and Hira, and also do what's their bread and butter, and that's just playing very aggressive on the attack and making the opponent forced to play strong defense and take advantage of the limited opportunities that the Mountaineers give to them. If they can do that, they should put themselves in good position to win this round.
Absolutely, and I think it is all going to be about capitalizing opportunities here. If you are a fan of this Broncos team, it's going to be tough though. As this Mountaineers team, they like to get really aggressive. It doesn't really matter if they have a lead, if they're up 2 goals, 3 goals. They always like to kind of build onto that. So, a good shot there for Emma, just bouncing off that right-sided post. Duffy's going to be there to kind of knock that ball out of harm's way for the time being, but it's still a decent chance here for the Broncos, but they're going to have to reset here, back, pick up some boost, and look to recontest it. To me, Lucas over the middle, going to get bounced back towards Tempo over the center, but Duffy's there, but here comes Johnny McMuffin. Almost nearly find an equalizer there, but an excellent string of defense there from Duffy, as the Mountaineers are going to be able to save it for the time being, but it's not going to be enough as Tempo 23 finally puts in the back of the net. And the Broncos are going to tie this game up 1-1 just before the 2-minute clock strikes.
Yeah, just good job by the Broncos for bouncing back and not getting discouraged from the early goal. Now it's interesting, can the Mountaineers regain momentum and take back the lead? Because you don't want this game to slowly snowfall out of control where they lose it and this just game becomes a lost round.
You certainly do not. The Mountaineers trying to find something. There's a really good chance here. Emma's going to go off the top, and oh my goodness, really, really dangerous there from Western Michigan. They almost gave a quick one off that kickoff, and the Mountaineers are still knocking on the door. Duffy with this right guard trying to find something, but it's going to be cleared now officially for the Broncos side as they're going to try and make it a quick second goal for them. In fact, it's going to be a good chance here. Lucas going to play it up towards the center, but it's going to be here up the left side. And now the Mountaineers, it's a lot of ping-ponging right now. Not a lot of teams are having a lot of success in their offensive sets. It's more just a couple touches and a quick clear from both sides. We're going to see a somewhat shot on goal there from the side of the Mountaineers. It's going to be a pretty routine save there from the side of Western Michigan. Just under 90 seconds left. Both of these teams are trying to find a way to break through.
Yeah, I know the saying is the defense wins championship, but sometimes the best defense is the better offense. And this game's going to go down to what offense can take advantage of mistakes from the defense. Because this game is looking where both teams have had chances on the goals, and it's just going to be who can come down to finish it in the back of the net.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of solo play right now from kind of both of these sides, and I say that, and it's just going to be Lucas who's going to be plays it right off tempo there. It's going to be a pinch. Wow, that's so brilliant there from the side of Western Michigan. Talk about a splash play to give yourselves the lead, and it looks like that kind of is going to have to be maybe the recipe here for how good both these defenses have looked. It's going to kind of be those surprise goals. That's excellent there from Western Michigan. Now it's going to be under 60 seconds left. The Mountaineers are going to need to find an equalizer here. Going to try and find it quick, but Duffy can't quite find anything. And now it's going to be Johnny McMuffin again up the right side.
Yeah, for the Mountaineers, I'd like them to start to rely on Emma and Hira's chemistry. Both of those, the longest member players on this team. And if you want to get a goal within the past 40 seconds, you're going to need to rely on that chemistry and experience to try to steal a late goal.
Certainly there. It's going to be Hira up the middle here. Hira's going to do it all on her own. Wow, what a great sequence there from Hira. Just takes it right off the backboard back to herself, and it's going to be an equalizer there for the Mountaineers. 32 seconds left. It's going to be a hero play from Hira, something we're all too familiar with. Now, who's going to find the breakaway now? 30 seconds left. The Mountaineers looking to come early. It's going to be an early demolition. Emma up this right side, trying to find something over the middle for her teammates, but she's going to be met up by tempo, and it's going to be Western Michigan regaining possession now for the time being. Hira again trying to find some more magic. Over on this right side, who's going to find the key touch? Who's going to make the mistake? Looks like we have a player disconnected, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know.
There will be a disconnection there.
Is it on Western Michigan or West Virginia? I don't know who's disconnected, but the ball is slowly going into the goal right there.
Bit of an anticlimactic ending there with 20 seconds left.
Yeah,
we've never had that on stream, I don't believe. So I honestly don't even really know the procedure for that. If Prod knows, I'm not entirely sure what the plan is now. There was just 20 seconds left. Looked like there was a scoring opportunity there for the Mountaineers. Looked like they might have a chance there, but now is it going to have to be a game reset? It's going to be interesting to see how they decide to handle that.
Yeah, that's very interesting. But going back to that Hira goal, with her being one of the longest members, that's what was perfect thing. You need to rely on that experience to get back in the game, and that's how they were able to score. Hira used her experience to solo shot that goal in. And if that's just the chemistry you have to do or the solution to the problem of being Western Michigan, I think the Mountaineers should go back to relying on that.
Yeah, it looked like it was just those last goals were both kind of those highlight plays.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw, I think maybe 2.5 minutes pass without a goal because it's kind of like very routine offense, very standard stuff that neither team was kind of biting on, and neither defense kind of made that big mistake that they were looking for. And then it comes like with that pinch from Western Michigan that was excellent, and then just kind of the solo play from Hira from midfield taking it all on herself. So it looks like might be a server issue, so we're going to send it to a quick break while they try and work that out. We will be right back. We are going back, and it's going to be a reset at kickoff here. Never mind. Looks like they're going to have a little bit more stuff to work out. I believe it will be a reset at kickoff with the same time and score, so around 20 seconds, 2-2 aside. So if you now if you're the Mountaineers, you just look like you had an attack opportunity, and server issues, they're going to happen pretty much. It's the reality of esports from time. How are you going to find a way to kind of be able to fight through that? I mean, you do have 20 seconds that is still available, but now play for overtime maybe. What's kind of going to be the strategy going in now for this Mountaineer team?
I think what the strategy for the Mountaineers is who can regain momentum, because the game just came to a sudden halt. This reminds me of like in baseball when there's rain delay and the team is scoring 4 or 5 runs. They can easily go cold at the bat, or the pitching can just go cold where they just can't hit the strike zone. So it's pretty much which team can kind of get over this shocking stop and play and start getting movement in. If you're the first team that gets over this hump, you're going to put yourself in a much better position to score.
Yeah, and I think that's going to come down to coaching as well. Who's going to get their players more ready to go after like this kind of awkward delay that, I mean, again, I don't think we've really seen this on stream yet. So the server did go down. We're going to head back in the game in just a second here. As I said, 2-2 with a 20-second kickoff. I believe they can't reset positions exactly, so this is probably the most fair way to do it. But I think your baseball analogy is going to be pretty good here. Who's going to be able to kind of snap out of this kind of like shocking slump faster? And obviously with just 20 seconds left on the clock, you don't really have a lot of time. One mistake now and it's going to be GG, obviously, with only 20 seconds left. You can kind of maybe fight for overtime and kind of give yourself a chance to a mental reset here. But now we're going to head back into it. 20 seconds left. The kickoff will go towards the way the Mountaineers. Now it's going to be demolition, however, on a Duffy. So now what's going to be the play? Here is going to try and find Emma. Emma, the shot's just barely up, and she is going to find it. Oh my goodness. Just took 8 seconds to the Mountaineers. It's here to Emma. As you said, that connection is so potent. And Emma, oh my goodness, absolutely perfect. I believe played it right off the hood of Lucas there. Now the Mountaineers are going to find a quick one. They snapped it right out of that cold sun. Now it's just 12 seconds here for Western Michigan to try and find something.
Yeah, Western Michigan just looked like a deer in headlights with Duffy and Hira just scoring the quick goal. And now can Western Michigan come back from the shock and hurry and quickly tie it before timing expires?
They're going to try, but it's going to be a clear from Duffy. Western Michigan's going to try and just keep this ball, but it's going to be grounded by Lucas, actually. A bit of a mistouch there. And Lotus are going to capitalize. Now it's going to be game one, a weird game one at that, but it is going to be a game one victory for the side of the Mountaineers.
Yeah, very weird.
That's going to mess up with the stats, but all that matters is it's going to be 3-2, and the Mountaineers are going to take game one.
Yeah, very weird game. But like we said, this game was going to come back to who kind of took off the shock first and regain momentum. And unfortunately for the Broncos, it was the Mountaineers who just relied on their veteran experience to set up that goal with Emma and just ended up stealing the game from the Broncos.
Yep, it was a great early goal, and it was a great kind of kickoff, and Duffy just kind of launching it back over towards that Western Michigan goal. Gave them kind of not even a real chance to try and find an equalizer. Now the Mountaineers, you got to think that that's going to be a huge boost of momentum and a little bit kind of a blow to the mental of this Western Michigan team, who was looking good, was up 2-1, and then the heroic goal from Hira, and then the weird timeout, and then immediately another goal for this Mountaineer team. Is that going to kind of come away with a game one victory? How do you reset yourself if you are Western Michigan and not kind of let that kind of sit in the back of your mind as you head into this game too?
Just quickly forget about it. You can't let this loss deflate you and stick around in your mind. When you let something like this simmer, you're more likely to make more mistakes, like WVU did against Jamestown. They played very sloppy and got kind of rode off a high of how good the Big One game is. So if I'm the Broncos, I'm going to just reset and remind you, if you win this game, you can still win this series.
Absolutely. It is a 1-2 for a reason. Winning the first one doesn't mean much if you cannot secure that second game victory. Now the Mountaineers going to try and do just that. It's going to be an early attacking opportunity. The ball gets launched over towards that Western Michigan goal, but it's going to be a little bit of a miss there from Duffy. As now it's going to be Western Michigan with a demo and a bump. There's a good chance here for the Broncos to try and find one early. It's going to be wide open goal, and the Mountaineers can't get back in time. Excellent offensive set there. I mean, look at the demolition, the bump, and there's just no chance for any Mountaineer player to get back. Really well played there from the Broncos. Yeah,
good job by Lucas and good job from the Broncos, knowing that they kind of got their momentum shooken off and kind of lost a game that they had a fair chance of winning. But now it goes down to the Mountaineers. How do they respond, and can they quickly tie the game up?
It's been a lot of kind of shocking, very spurt of the moment goals. It hasn't been a kind of like a lot of stuff. It's kind of just been a bunch of bang bang plays and then the ball's in the back of the net. So how are the Mountaineers able to capitalize? And they might have a chance here. As Duffy's going to be up this left side. He has plenty of space to try and find something. A little bit of a flip there over to the left towards Emma. Emma's going to play it over towards the center, but Lucas is there. No boost, however, but he is able to find the clear. And now Western Michigan trying to maybe find a chance to build upon their lead here. Mountaineers can try and find something here. Cut it in and find an equalizer, but Western Michigan once again, it's a good touch from Johnny McMuffin, but he's going to get demoed for it. Now the Mountaineers might have a chance here of their own.
Yeah, this game's been like the whole series, game 1 to game 2. This game has been very back and forth, like a tug of war. But it's pretty much coming down to which team can kind of hold on momentum and not let the early mistakes discourage them. Unfortunately for the Broncos, that's what cost them game 1. But for the Mountaineers, can they get that slow start and kind of quickly equalize it?
Absolutely. We have yet to see any team take a 2-goal lead in this series. It has all been neck and neck so far. A lot of push and pull. Kind of this Rocket League tug of war they're watching right now. Emma's going to try and find an equalizer. She could have a chance here. Can she find the ball centered? Yes, she can. Emma, oh my goodness, all on her own. What a goal from Emma. And the Mountaineers, once again, going to tie this game right back up at 1 apiece.
Yeah, that's why coaches are so big on bringing in veterans, especially for young teams. Because when you bring in veterans players, you can rely on them from going close games and kind of help push you over the game. And right now, in both the game 1 and game 2 currently, Emma's playing outstanding games so far.
Absolutely. She's been all over the place. Even in that awkward game 2 against Jamestown, Emma was the one that kept getting the Mountaineers back in. It obviously wasn't enough in that game, but here, such an important goal for Emma. It's going to be a good touch as well to kind of stifle that Western Michigan attack for the time being. Lucas with the touch, you're trying to find something that's a couple of 50-50 ones from him, actually, as the Mountaineers tried to find something there, but it's not going to be quite there. Emma's going to find it over the middle, and this time Emma will win the 50-50 as that ball will bounce back towards on the side of the Mountaineers. Be over the middle here from Duffy, trying to find something. It's going to be a good touch here up the right side, but can't quite get that. Oh my goodness, Duffy, are you kidding? What a shot. What an angle from Duffy. Came out of nowhere. And the Mountaineers are going to get a second here. That's ridiculous. Wow.
What a goal from the young stud in Duffy. And he's really learning and kind of gaining the knowledge from what happened in the first semester, and he's kind of just gaining this experience, and he's clearly showing why he was brought into this team.
Absolutely. And we talked about it a lot in that first week. What is this going to look like, because they do have their first returning teammate. Duffy has been here now for his second semester, and it has been Hira and Emma, and then a third for like the last 3 or 4 semesters, and it seems like that's kind of always been a rotating seat, but Duffy has been here to stay, and he's absolutely shown why right now. Finding the Mountaineers' second goal here in this game too to give themselves another lead, and now the Mountaineers looking to find their first double goal lead in this series. They're going to have a good chance here, but it's going to be Johnny McMuffin once again with a good clear for the time being, but no boost or no real ability to follow up. Hira, can Hira find one? Oh my goodness, yes she can. It's another really kind of quick goal for the Mountaineers that almost came out of nowhere once again. Now it's going to be all 3 Mountaineer players finding themselves on the scoreboard.
Yeah, the Mountaineers, you know the song David Bowie's Under Pressure?
Yeah.
He's just they're just pushing pressure down on the Broncos. And now it just seems like after that early goal, the Broncos are just stunned and don't know what to deal with. If they can't.
Oh, is it going to be another? Oh my, yes it will. Right off a kickoff. Western Michigan got a little bit ahead of themselves, and Emma from midfield. Oh, right off of Lucas as well. So unfortunate there for the Broncos, but the Mountaineers are going to ride that. Now with just over 100 seconds left, all of a sudden they have a 3-goal lead.
Oh, most definitely. Now the Broncos are going to find their own Rocky and try to fight their way back into this game. Because if they don't, this game is quickly spiraling out of control.
They got to find something quick, and it's going to be a good bump there for the Mountaineers. They're going to maybe find another one. Oh my goodness, it's an avalanche for the Mountaineers. Hero's going to find another one. It's been 4 goals in a minute here for this Mountaineer team. You see the bump there from Duffy to set it up, and Hira just going to take it all on her own once again. What is going on here? Western Michigan just looks absolutely rocked.
Yeah, Western Michigan just has not been able to find a way to stop the veteran leadership that Mountaineers have. And it's just that experience that just kind of made the difference in this game. And both the Mountaineers have been relying on this chemistry, while the Broncos just kind of seem to be stuck in the mud, not being able to figure out to find an answer to this.
And yeah, it's just the Mountaineers are all of a sudden are getting whatever they want offensively, and Western Michigan is just having trouble getting the ball to the other side of the field. Emma there with a good clear. Duffy going to try and find something in the middle. The Mountaineers have another chance. It's a completely open net here for Western Michigan. They've just left themselves all out on the attacking side. Emma's going to play it over towards the center. Can she do it all on her own once again? She might have a center there for Duffy, but it's not going to come through. I mean, the Mountaineers are just giving up nothing. It's going to be another one. Duffy, give him his second goal. It's going to be 2 goals apiece for all the Mountaineers. And this one will look like it might be a close one. It's going to be a 2-0 victory. The Mountaineers are up 5 goals, 50 seconds left. It is all but over.
Quickly came to an avalanche, but Will, what do the Broncos have to do to try to make this score a little bit respectable, especially with how the first game went?
It really is shocking about just kind of how different these first 2 games. It's almost like what happened in the first series you saw today, because game 1, the Mountaineers looked so good, and all of a sudden, Jamestown just kind of lit these Mountaineer team up. I mean, we saw the first 4.5 minutes. It was 2-2. It was neck and neck, and then the stoppage happened. The Mountaineers found a quick goal, and it has been all WVU all since then. You got to think that maybe there was kind of a bit of a mental boom from the side of Western Michigan after kind of like the freeze from the server issues. They just have not been able to recover at all.
Yeah, it just seems like I agree. They seem to have a mental block that they just became stagnant and weren't able to recover. And unfortunately in sports, when stuff like that happens, you need to have a quick memory and just shortly forget.
Like a goldfish.
Yeah.
Yep. Short-term memory loss, not the strong suit of this Western Michigan team. As the clock will strike 0, this ball will be grounded. And maybe find one more to make it respectable, but they will not. And the Mountaineers dominate in a game 2. It's going to be 2 goals apiece for Emma, Duffy, and Hira. A 6-1 victory against this Western Michigan team that looked like they were going to be maybe the Mountaineers' toughest test all season, but did not turn out that way, as the Mountaineers will coast. And they will go 2-0 on the day, back to 5-1 in NACE place. I mean, that was not nearly as close as I thought it was going to be.
Unfortunately, that's just how the cookie crumbles. But this was not what you were expecting. I was expecting another close game with how the Broncos played. But unfortunately, they just could not rebound from that weird stoppage from game 1. And unfortunately, the Mountaineers just did not lose a beat when that stop happened. And they were just banging the drum on the Broncos the whole time during game 2.
Well, I mean, you talked about the benefits of having kind of like those veteran leaders on your team, and I think that's one of the benefits is when this weird stuff kind of happens, you're going to be better at kind of resetting, getting yourself back in the swing of things, and then immediately as soon as that game gets back on, you're locked, and you're kind of and you're going to have that advantage for some of these younger teams, and the Mountaineers certainly showed that today. I mean, just an absolute avalanche in game 2, and and again the first kind of 2 minutes. It was 1-1. Both these teams are kind of like jostling for position, as we saw a lot in game 1, and then it was just goal for the Mountaineers. The floodgates completely open, and Western Michigan had no answer.
Yeah, it was just like a completely opposite of what you expected. The first game was like a tug of war. It was one team scored, the other team scored, the next team scored, the other team scored. It was very back and forth until that stoppage play, where unfortunately the Mountaineers, as soon as it stopped, just went back to work and scored. And then it looked like the Broncos early on kind of regained their momentum with that quick goal. But that just seemed to be a fast day. They just could not recover after that first goal, and they just seemed to be a magician who ran out of tricks.
Yeah. And we will be getting Emma on here in just a second for a little post-game interview after she had an excellent both matches today. She was absolutely brilliant as the Mountaineers, as I mentioned, 2-0 on the day in Swiss place. Now, 5-1. What is that going to look into next week? Odds are St. Clair going to be on the docket for this team. St. Clair versus this Lotus team. The St. Clair Academy versus the Lotus team. They've played each other countless times. It's a little bit of a rivalry, although we haven't really seen it in a little bit because of kind of how divisions have shifted. So excited if we get to see that next week for sure. As I said, we will be getting Emma on here in just a second. But I mean, I'm still in shock about. I would never have guessed how that game 2 would have gone. But it's an excellent job for the Mountaineers. I mean, as gimmicky as it might be, I think that disconnect played a really big factor in this game, and just kind of like the mentality of these teams. It was shocking.
Yeah, it is shocking, but unfortunately, that's just how sports goes, both physical and digital.
Yes.
It just goes down to who can recover quickly, who can get over the mental blockage. When something unexpected happens, who can regain over the shock. And unfortunately for the Broncos, they just didn't do that, while the Mountaineers have great chemistry and great veterans that just let them quickly respond and not get stopped in their tracks from the unexpected event that happened in game 1.
Yeah. No, I do think it was a lot of that kind of veteran leadership, and then you elevate your teammates so much when you have all that experience. You just kind of have the knowledge of how to like navigate these weird scenarios that a lot of times you're not going to encounter. And Duffy did a really good job of just coming along with Emma and Hira. He was able to find his goals when they presented themselves to him, but everyone just kind of played their part beautifully. It was a lot of really nice. Wasn't a ton of like the chemistry team play goals that we're used to seeing, especially between Emma and Hira. It was a lot of just kind of like solo mastery. But I mean, Western Michigan, kind of the way that they played it defensively, just kind of let themselves open to kind of like those really spectacular plays, and the Mountaineers capitalized beautifully.
Well, yes, there wasn't as much chemistry, but I'd also feel like that's what you get with experience in veterans. Even though you're not seeing it, the players have much trust that the veterans, they can rely on them and set up the plays. And I think that's just what happened. Even though they weren't making the chemistry of the goals, setting up the goals, they still had the chemistry to know when to rely on who had the more experience and help gain back momentum.
And we are going to get to Emma right now, who's here with us live in a post-game interview. Emma.
Yes.
How are you? Congratulations on the couple of wins today.
Thank you.
All right, so I want to talk first about kind of like Western Michigan. First 4 minutes and 30 seconds of game one, it's 2-2. It's back and forth. The disconnect happens, things get reset, and then after that, it's just an avalanche of goals. Obviously, the quick goal in game one, putting up 6 goals or 5 goals, whatever it was in game two, it just came up all Mountaineers after that. Was there kind of like, what was the message kind of like during that break that really locked you guys in?
Well, that's what we have our coach Jared for. He just told us to lock in, stay focused, not let it get to our heads, and that's kind of what we did.
All right.
And then Emma, I know you're one more of the veterans on the team.
Yeah.
Can you kind of give me an inside look on your head, how after the stoppage it's happened, you kind of regained momentum and quickly got over the shock of the quick stop?
I mean, it's a kickoff. It was reset at kickoff. We've done kickoff how many times at this point in our careers? So we've been practicing them because it's something that happens every single game multiple times. So when it went to a kickoff after the disconnect, we knew that we were confident going in. So, yeah.
All right. Now you move to 5-1 in Swiss play. Going into next week, are there any teams that you kind of have on the top of your mind that you want to take out? I know we don't know your opponents yet. Is there anyone like kind of like on the docket that you really want to beat?
All of them.
All of them. That's a great answer. I should have expected that answer. That's a great answer. Thank you,
I
Emma.
mean, if we want to win the whole thing, we've got to beat everybody, right?
Of course, naturally. And you guys obviously coming off champions from last semester, I'm sure. Obviously, that is going to be the goal for the back-to-back. So thank you so much, Emma. Congratulations once again on the win.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
A lot of confidence. Nothing is new. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for us. The Mountaineers going 2-0 in Lotus. Very convincing fashions, I believe. I think they won games 1 and 3, and then games 2 by like 15 total goals across their 2 matches. So really, really dominating stuff from them. But that is going to be it for us. Signing off here today. We'll be back tomorrow with COD, hopefully, if it doesn't get disqualified or forfeited, which it looks like it might. But obviously, we'll be here if that does happen. And then Valorant against Maryville. So a lot of exciting stuff on the docket, and we will see you guys then.